Fun fact, I started coding when I was a kid, so I actually love DDD, CQRS, and ES. We do it, yes. Right, so MediaValet. So I'm here to talk about how we reinvented our company from being a production services company into a software company, right? And I'm going to share, like everybody, like all the presenters here, I'm going to share the lessons we learned through the process. First of all, we were founded back in the year 2000, 17 years ago, right? The company was called VRX Studios. So we were a full-service photography company, right? We work with over 10,000 hotels all around the world. So if you actually go to a brand name hotel and go to their website, right, and the images that you will see from the property pages are actually created by us, most likely, right? Because out of 180,000 hotels, we have been, to date, we have been working with about 14,000 already, right? So that's a lot, right? But from the year 2000 to 2010, over a decade, we developed a big damn problem, right? So that is like we had a problem managing digital assets. So DAM is about digital asset management. And we developed that big problem because all of a sudden we had to work with 40 terabytes of content for ourselves and for our clients, for the hotels, right? So that was a problem that we faced. Secondly, the hotels wanted access to their content and self-serve. We did not have a digital asset management system, so we had the problem of satisfying the customer. So what did we do? Build versus buy. First mistake, we bought, right? So we bought a relatively inexpensive piece of digital asset management software, installed it on a server, got a subset of our content, and put the content into that system. Of course, we skinned it to make it look good, like if it's our product, right? And then we sold it to a major name hotel. They actually paid for it, big time, right? So, and the problem was they got so pleased with the results that their marketing team can now have access to all those media assets. The next thing that they did was, okay, let's give it to all the hotel properties all around the world. That was the problem. It crashed. It wasn't able to scale, right? So then we decided, yeah, we bought a cheap piece of software. Let's go enterprise, okay? Then we made another mistake. We purchased another on-premise DAMs. Well, it was enterprise. It was supposed to scale well. Extremely expensive investment on our part. And for us to make that investment, we actually got consultants from San Francisco to come over, the people who sold us the product, and then when their consultants came over, after the first session that was done, what happened was, what I heard was, our salespeople told you what? Uh-oh. So now we have a problem, right? So after some negotiation, we got our money back, but then again, we had to take a step back and rethink our strategy. At the time, we've had experience implementing digital asset management systems. We've evaluated dozens of digital asset management systems, right? And the cloud was actually just launched, right? So Amazon was there. Microsoft launched Azure at the time. And then we decided to go, for that amount of money, we can actually build it on the cloud. And then there's this thing called what they call the Content Management Interoperability Specification. It's a public standard that was just launched in 2010, right? So we have the blueprint, we have the experience, we have the cloud. Why don't we go build it? So we did, and that worked. And that's where we're at right now. So 2010, we actually went to market with what we call a cloud DAMs offering. It was sold under VRX Studios as a product, as a service that we were offering to our clients. Then, a few years later, we decided to go all in. We sold VRX Studios, right? Made that bet. Sold the VRX Studios, and then all the money that came in, after selling VRX Studios, all the staff went with VRX Studios except 4. And then we actually had to start from scratch again, the restartup mode, right? So why did we sell VRX Studios and go all in? Okay, so this is the anatomy of an opportunity for me, right? So it was a local, an internal document that was circulated among our executives, right? And this is effectively what we call an industry mapping. Like, so it's a strategic management framework which says that get 2 dimensions that people actually compete on within an industry, right? In our case, in cloud dams, we know that dams are either small biz, mid-market, or enterprise, right? And we know that the SaaS companies can only offer it regionally or nationally because it's so expensive to host that entire system if you were to actually run it and operate it. So what we saw was, oh, greenfield. We can actually use our solution to fill out that space. Now, in industry mapping, an empty space can mean 2 things. It's either a greenfield or it may not be feasible, right? So one or the other, right? So what we did was we actually had to test the market. We realized that, yeah, we can actually go live with it, and then we proceeded with what we have right now. That's how we saw the opportunity at the time. Okay, so it was enabled by the cloud, right? And when I talk about the cloud, I'm talking about the Hyperscale Cloud. So a lot of companies through the years talk about cloud, 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 right? But there's only 3 hyperscale clouds. When we talk hyperscale, we're talking about millions of servers within those data centers. Not just a few thousand, not just a few hundred thousands, millions of servers. That's hyperscale cloud. So we only have Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, right? And those hyperscale clouds, they offer what they call infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, right? And us, what we do is we build software as a service on top of that. Lesson learned, what we did was, if you go infrastructure as a service, you're actually setting up a server network on the cloud, which means you need network architects, systems engineers. If you're building on platform as a service, you need application developers, right? So it's more cost effective for us. We're building from the ground up. We decided to go with platform as a service, and we don't have a single network architect in our team up to now. Right? It's very efficient. Thirdly, architecting a solution on the cloud. How do we do that? Right? So it's no different than architecting any other software solution. There are 17 quality attributes of a good solutions architecture, all listed here, right? But they are broken down into 4 categories: user experience, software design, system, and runtime. In the past, you actually have to think about all of those 17 to build that. Right now, our focus is on software design, make sure that we do the correct software design, software that has conceptual integrity, that is maintainable, reusable, and extensible, right? And then we focus on user experience. We get UX people to build that, right? And then system and runtime, we actually delegate now to Microsoft, the cloud, right? It's just important that we understand the capabilities, because the cloud is not infinitely scalable. Marketing material will always say the cloud is infinitely scalable. No, it's not infinitely scalable. It's massively scalable. Big difference. Difference is there's a limit, right? So you have to understand what the limitations of the system and runtime are, and you have to design around that. Thirdly, you have to align your development team with your market intent, right? So these are the different versions. didn't show up, sorry. But we tell the development team what the market intent is for a particular release, right? So when we were trying to come up with our minimum viable product, right? So that was actually trying to determine market feasibility, right? Can we actually build a cloud solution for them? Is there a market for it? Let's try it out. Yeah, there's a market for it, okay? So now the problem here is, if you don't tell your development team what the market intent is, there's a possibility that they might over-engineer or overbuild it, right? You don't want to waste too much time and resources on building something that is not yet proven, right? So after it got proven, yes, it's feasible. What's the next step? Let's go for market entry. It's okay? So let's go for market entry. So that's our V1, right? And then so on and so forth, you know, and the more you go, the higher the investment you're making, right? And that is critical. This is a bit controversial, it's my belief that transparency is key in building a team, right? But it's very difficult for a lot of your team members to swallow, right? So what we tell everybody is every company goes through a growth curve. Every company, not just our company, it's every company, right? So, and every company, this is actually not me, this is created by, this is called the Griner growth model, right? So every company will go through different phases of growth, but before you can move to the next phase, you will actually hit some sort of crisis, right? So for example, startup, you have founders, very creative, very informal, they are in build mode, they build something to the point that you hit the market and it actually clicked. But then again, now you have leadership crisis. You need to put professional managers in to actually give more direction, put more formal structures in, and that's a typical company. Like, a company will grow this way, right? So how do we give this message to our team, right? So we are in one of these phases, right? And to manage the expectations of the team members, for example, we are in crisis mode. Expect that you will see a company in crisis mode because we are going from here to here, right? So at least you manage the expectations of your team members. And number two, they are part of the solution and they are part of the team that actually is going forward to the next growth phase. Crisis. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and lastly, SaaS as a business is still a business, right? So when we shifted from production services to software as a service, right, there was a change in strategic direction, right? So in a normal frame of mind, you will think that, okay, so what do we need? We need to rejig our strategy, we need to build the systems, and we need people. But there is actually a framework that we have to follow. It's not just 3 S's, it's 7 S's, right? So this is the Mckenzie 7S model. And if you change something here, you're actually changing, you need to make changes to a bunch of other places as well, right? So for example, now that we're a software company, structure and style, how will that differ now? We now have to implement lean agile principles, right? Shared values. So we actually took time to think about what our new core purpose and core values are, as a new company. Well, 4 of us at the time, right? So staff, you're now dealing with knowledge workers, not creative professionals. How would things change, right? So all of this, we actually have to think about, right? And that's how we move forward. Okay, that's it.